My name is Sunil Rain, and I represent the only Indian smartphone company, Lava International Limited. So the topic that I have chosen today might sound a little awkward to you, but the hard reality is that we have practically been colonized. Because in modern era, the colonization is not about land grab. It's not about physical occupation of a place, of a country. It's more about occupation through economic means and most importantly, occupation of the data, of the information, control on all that is what colonization means in today's world. So I'm going to talk about how this colonization of Indian smartphone industry took place and what are we doing as an effort to decolonize it back to what this country deserves. So, like I said, smartphone industry has been colonized, which means a bulk of, in fact, very high percentage of phones that are getting sold today in the market are not made by Indians, are not Indian brands. They are brands from outside. And this is how 2024 looks like. Like I said, there's only one company from India which is a part of this group of companies which are operating in India today. And this is not how it looked in 2014. Just 10 years back, this landscape looked very, very different. This is how it looked. And there are these companies and many more which today are not existent. So this is what a colonization is about. That there are companies from India which are no more able to get the market share that they should be taking. Now, can we say that it is because it's somebody else's fault? It is not somebody else's fault. There are faults that we as companies have had, and there are certain other circumstances because of which situation arose. But whatever it is, wherever we are today, we must change the situation. So this is how the market share has changed over the last 10 years between foreign brands and Indian brands. This is how foreign brands grew over the last 12 years, 11 years, and this is how the market share of Indian brands degrew. The key moment being 2014. It is the time when a lot of companies from China entered India and practically acquired the entire landscape in just a couple of years' time. And we were also one of the competitors. We were also, Lava was a company which was out there. We also got affected. We also lost share. But we held on to it through whatever fundamental investments that we had made. But if you see today, if you see these two lines at the bottom, they're almost coinciding with each other, which means today the share of Indian brands is equal to share of Lava. Practically 95% of the share of Indian brands is with Lava today, which is not a very good situation to be in, because we would want more companies to come in. We would want more Indian companies to compete in this landscape. But why did we get here? Why did all this happen? How did we land here? From being about 50-60% of the market to just about 10% of the market, what changed? How did we get here? Number one, when the Chinese companies came, specifically, when they came in, they did huge amount of price discounting in the market. They burnt a lot of cash along with the e-commerce platforms like Flipkart and Amazon. They also participated in the deep discounting, and because of which Indian companies were not able to compete. at the pricing that was provided by these companies. And on top of that, they also invested heavily in marketing. I'm sure if you were around in 2014 in India, you would have seen that entire country was painted blue, green, and whatever colors they came in with. So these were the primary two big inputs into the market that led to the shift. But these are all external factors. What happened internally? That Indian companies were not doing R&D. We were not investing in innovation. We were not investing in manufacturing. At the same time, the shift from 3G to 4G technology was happening, and we were not keeping pace with the technology. And one of the primary reasons for that is that in India, there was no ecosystem at that point in time. Even if somebody wanted to innovate, even if somebody wanted to do manufacturing, the ecosystem was just non-existent. The entire ecosystem was sitting in China. Therefore, there were so many difficulties in making sure that you also do some innovation in the process. And of course, because you did not have control on the product, you did not have control on quality, you did not have control on manufacturing. So the products that Indian companies were giving were poor quality, not reliable, the customer service was poor, and of course, like I said, there was no manufacturing ecosystem. So there are some external factors, there were some internal factors for which we as brands are responsible, and then there are other policy factors that also came into picture at that point in time. So all these factors put together ensured that the market share of Indian brands reduced dramatically just within a couple of years. So what is our mission? So just about 3-4 years back, we realized that this situation must be changed. You know, every businessman looks at any business in two ways. One is if there's an opportunity out there, or you take up some challenge to say, okay, there are things happening in a certain way, let me do it differently. But when we looked at this whole scenario, we said apart from these business objectives, there is a larger objective. And the larger objective is that we must get Indians' share of the market at least up to 25%. There has to be fair competition between Indian companies and the multinational companies. Since we are the only company around right now, therefore the whole responsibility of it falls on our shoulders. Therefore, we take it more like a responsibility than just a challenge or an opportunity. So therefore, this 25% market share is, we have set as a target, in the next 3 years' time, we will get to that 25% market share. And what makes me confident about saying this, and why I'm so confident saying that we'll get to this percentage of market share, I'll just talk about it in a little while. Let's look at what happened in the last 1 year. We grew our smartphone almost 2.4x. Our growth of smartphones was 240%. The industry degrew by about 10%. We grew by 240%. And how did we do that? We actually looked at all the consumer experiences and understood what are the fundamentals, investment that we have to make so that we are able to compete with our competitors. Our competitors, by the way, are global competitors. They are not local competitors. Like we have X percentage of market share in India, these companies have maybe 20%, 30% market share globally. It's not even a David versus Goliath fight. It's perhaps an ant versus an elephant fight, right? So very, very tough. But what we did is we looked at the fundamentals of doing business. How can we really create a space for ourselves? One of the key things is that we built a company wherein we have control on every component of the value chain. Every element of the value chain today, we control directly. Which starts from in-house research and development. We have a team, engineering team in India, who's able to build a today phone from scratch. In fact, no company in India has a full-fledged R&D organization in India. Some companies do some part of R&D here, some companies perhaps would work on camera here, maybe some RF, but bulk of the R&D happens outside India. So, which led to another problem, which was that when we went out to look for engineers who could build phones from scratch, it was very hard to find them. So what we did is that almost 5-6 years back, we sent our engineers from India to China. And we had a full-fledged R&D office in China. We sent our people to China. They stayed there for 2 years. They learned R&D from there, came back, and then we set up the whole R&D organization in India. Because even today, if you want to look for an engineer who can design a phone from scratch, you will not find that in India, except at Lava. So that's the challenge that we had. Now, we have complete in-house design team, which means we do industrial design, mechanical design, hardware design, software design, and application design. So all relevant design elements of phone making, we can completely control today in-house. Then we also have digital upstream chain, which means basically we have the whole supply chain in our own direct control. We talk to supply chain vendors directly, so we don't have third parties in between, we do it directly. And today we have a manufacturing facility in India which can produce 42 million phones every year. So that's the scale of manufacturing that we have today in India. We're also one of the largest retailing and distribution company with about 900 plus distributors and 120,000 retailers in the country. And all these people are directly connected on our automated platform. So we have visibility of all these 100,000 plus retailers directly from our office. And we get data real time of their sales, etc. And this is an application that we have built in-house. And then customer service. When I come to the customer service section, I'll tell you how we have made a paradigm shift in delivering customer service. We have looked at customer service problem from a very different angle. Therefore, our actions and our activities in customer service are very different from what you see in this industry. So when we built all this design, manufacturing, everything, when we built it up, now the important question was, what do we build? So for that, it was important to listen to the customers and listen to the customers very, very deeply. Understand their problems, provide solutions, and give very exciting and unique innovative features. Our strategy is based on 5 key pillars. And these are all principles. These are not just strategic pillars, they're also principles. They have deeper meaning for us than just grabbing the market share. We wanted to make a difference at the deeper level, not at the superficial level. So these are the 5 principles which I will talk about in subsequent slides. Number 1 is premiumness for everyone. Now if you see, most of the brands, big brands, they have a huge portfolio, right from, let's say, 7,000 rupees price point all the way up to 80,000, 90,000 rupees price point. Now for them to make 20,000 rupees, 30,000 rupees, 40,000 rupees phone look better, they will have to compromise and use lesser quality for the products below. It's not that it can't be provided at that price point, it's just that their portfolio gets disturbed. If I make a 10,000 rupees phone look better, make it look good, my 20,000 rupees phone will be difficult to sell. So therefore, the material that is used in the build quality, in the lower end, in the spectrum, is very, very poor quality, very plasticky, cheap material, cheap displays, cheap cameras, so everything is very, very cheap. Second part is your device, you decide. This is second principle, which means the moment we sell the device to you, every right on the device is yours. I'll explain that later. But this is important fundamental principle which is not followed in this industry. But we changed this. We said this is what we are going to do. And third one is trouble-free experience always. Not just at the time of sales, but always, all the way till the time you leave that device. That's the experience that we are monitoring. And fourth, when something goes wrong with your device, it's not your fault. It's our fault. So that is the principle that we have worked on in our customer service. And finally, 5, if it's on the technology side, ahead of the curve. We have done so many things which are first in the segment. New innovations for the segment is something that we have brought in the last 1 year. So I explained about this. So what we did is, first of all, we worked on the build quality, the industrial design. Even our 7,000 rupees phone today gets a glass back, premium glass back material. And every phone up to 20,000 rupees today gets a plastic back material. The material that's used in the design of the phone today from big brands is very cheap. And we have changed that completely, because you deserve premiumness for the money that you are paying to us. Your money is no lesser than the guy who's paying 50,000 rupees. The value of your 5,000 rupees is equal to, maybe higher than the person who's getting 5,000 rupees, who's paying 50,000 rupees. So that is one fundamental change that we brought. Therefore, our design language, the premiumness, the build qualities, very different from the brands that you see outside. Like I said, your device, you decide. All the companies are monetizing the devices that are sold to the customers. A lot of bloatware is added to the phone. A lot of ads are shown on the phone because you can make some bucks out of it. But customers don't like it at all. In our research, almost 90% people said that they dislike bloatware on the phone. Now, it's a very catch-22 situation for brands, because all the investor presentations are around, this is the amount of money that I'm going to make after I sell the device to the customers. So you cannot exit out of this. As a brand, you are stuck. You cannot come out of this, because your whole business plan is built on monetization after the purchase of the hardware is done. So we decided that we will put no bloatware in the phone. In fact, every phone that we launch at any price point carries no bloatware at all. Zero bloatware philosophy is what we have decided. Because, like I said, it is your device, you decide. Because smartphone is smart because you can change it according to your usage. There are 5 million applications on the Play Store. I don't need to second guess you and tell you these are the 5 applications that you should use. The reason those 5 million applications exist there is because you can customize the phone according to your liking. So it's not my right to go and change your phone, your smartness of the phone. So which means I'm not going to earn money from the bloatware that you use. Because anyways, we believe it's just a matter of time that consumers are going to completely reject this. It's just a matter of time. I can already see it. In fact, funnily, some companies are now launching phones and announcing that this time the bloatware is 60% lesser, which means they also realized that this is not going to go very long, and therefore there's trouble already there over there. So our philosophy of no bloatware is something that we applied last year. And third is that all these companies have built what's called a skin on top of the Android operating system. And the fundamental reason why that is built is because they want to monetize. Every movement, every click that you do has an opportunity for you to monetize. Therefore, you design it your way. Now, the problem is that when the new Android updates are coming and upgrades are coming, you have to change the entire skin again, which is a lot of effort. Now, the brands what they are doing is they're only putting this effort on the higher end, not on the lower end. Therefore, the lower end customers get a raw deal. If you see below 20,000 rupees customers, they don't get regular software updates. And why are software updates required, especially the security updates? Because it keeps your device up to date on security threats. Because these devices are vulnerable to threats, and Google releases security patches every month so that your device is not vulnerable to external threats. But since you're not providing it, So you're not giving that assurance to the customers because you have to work on the entire software. So what we did is we kept it clean, we kept it stock, so there is no layer on top of Android OS, there's no bloatware, and when you use the phone, it is pure, clean Android experience to you. And every time there is a patch released by Google, we directly push it to the customers and they all get it. So just to mention, so we got about 81 software updates in just 1 year, which is a huge number by any standard. And then when we change the experience, we also have a mechanism wherein we connect with consumers on an ongoing basis to check what their feedback is, and then we release a software solving all the problems that they may have in the device on the software front. So therefore, as a result, our customer ratings on platforms have also gone up, because now the customer experience that you get from our phones is, in fact, by the way, some of the phones are the best rated on these platforms. Like I said, in customer service, the way customer service is delivered in our industry is almost like a favor to the customer. The moment something goes wrong with the device, you have to call, you have to email, you have to message, and then you have to maybe travel 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers to find a service center, go there, give the device, they'll keep it for 2 days, and then you'll come back. So a device without which you cannot live even for a minute is now away from you for about 2 days, 3 days, and God knows how many days. And then they will go there, they say, we don't have the parts, we don't have this, we don't have that, so therefore that problem happens. So what we decided, we said, because every company gives warranty. And what does warranty mean? Warranty is a promise saying that if something goes wrong with the device, I am responsible for it. It is my fault. Because in the first year, if something goes wrong with the device, I must have made some mistake. It is not your mistake. But the way service is delivered, it's like made to look like it's customer's fault. So we wanted to change that completely. Therefore, whenever customer has a problem, all that customer has to do is call us up, and our customer service representative, our engineer, goes to that person's house and fixes the phone right then and there itself. And if it is a bigger fault, it has to be taken to the service center. They will take it, pick it up, fix it, and deliver it back to the customer. So the service at home concept is applied only by Lava in this industry. No other company in the industry is giving service at home. Now, I must tell you one very interesting story about customer service and how our people are passionately aligned to the vision that we have. There was this customer who called us up and he says, I have a problem with my phone. Can you send somebody? So our person said, okay, we'll come. Tell us where you want us to go. He said, actually, I travel a lot, so I don't know where I'm going to be at what point in time. Let me think about it. I'll come back to you. Our representative called him back. He asked him, okay, you tell me where are you traveling and to which place? Then the customer told him that I am boarding a train from this station at so-and-so time. I'm going to another place. So what our customer service executive did, he bought a ticket, went to the station, got into the train, sat with the customer, fixed the device. After 3-4 stations, he came back. So this is the extent to which our customer service executives are delivering service to the customers. And there are so many examples. Somebody is in the hospital, somebody is in the agricultural field. Our people are going everywhere in the country. And this kind of service is not delivered anywhere in the world, I can promise you that. And then ahead of the curve in terms of technology, we were the first company to launch a 3D curved display at 20,000 rupees price point. We launched another one at 18,000 rupees price point just 2 days back. And then we also were the first in the country to launch a 5G smartphone at sub 10,000 rupees price point. I spoke about that technology shift from 3G to 4G, which the bus that all of us missed because we were behind on technology curve. But this time, we were ahead of everybody else. So from 4G to 5G, we were the first to bring the affordable device to the market. And then, of course, we are Indians, and we love India, so we are proud about it. And I believe that most of us Indians would love to see an Indian global brand in this category, and that's what we are very passionately working towards. Then, of course, the customer love followed. If you see comments on Twitter and anywhere, all the social media, you will see how they're raving about our service, our products, our pricing, and everything. All this change has happened in the last 1 year. We were working on it for the last 4 years, but the products and the service and everything that we delivered has happened in the last 1 year. This is the feedback about service at home, clean Android, no bloatware. A lot of positive comments on that. And some recognitions from awards, etc., for the work that we did. And also, as per the Counterpoint research, we became the fastest growing smartphone brand in the 10 to 20K category. And being in 10 to 20K category was very difficult for any Indian company just 5 years, even 5 years back. So that change has come because all the work that we did all these years has resulted in that change. And here's Mr. Mahatma Gandhi inspiring us to work harder to ensure that the way he decolonized India, we're also on the mission to decolonize the smartphone industry. Thank you very much for your time.